Hi! So, last vlog was the astronauts, which have been varnished, shipped. They arrived in Japan, where Moon Crane Press is, and well, that's done. I mean, they haven't checked on them, so hopefully nothing is broken. But I think it should be fine. I also just finished this painting here today. The video of this one should be up before this vlog, so I'm going to link that down below. It's going to be a process video. I actually edited that video to a finish already. I just want to have it scanned and ready in my Redbubble shop, so if anyone wants a print, you know, then it's available. Trying to, you know, be professional about my artwork. We are mid-February and I already started on the many artworks that I have to do this year for the upcoming shows. So this was one of them and it's done. I'm really happy. I also started to butcher a few books, 3 new ones, and I'm working on a 4th, and that's basically, you know, what we're going to do in this video, working on different sculptures. I have, as I said, a lot of group shows this year, which is exciting, but it's also a little bit stressful because I have to churn out ideas. You just have to work to get ideas out. So for now, what I'm doing, I started to, once the astronauts were done, I actually just on an evening started to do something, and I did a butterfly. And that butterfly resulted in a new Skillshare class about butterflies, and now I have an artwork that I've been sitting for months that is finally finding its footing with butterflies and flowers. Now it's starting to work as well, and I'm going to work and make more flowers on top. And since I really liked the paper flowers and the butterflies, I decided to do that on 2 other books. And then the other thing that I saw, we went to the beach not long ago. We live pretty near to the ocean, and I've been wanting to work on mussels and oysters for a while, and so I did butcher another book to just do that and add oysters everywhere. So basically this is where I'm at. I have other ideas, and but I'm not sure they're good, but I tend to just go with it and then judge later. That's kind of my mantra in my artwork in general, because I've learned the hard way that if you have an idea and you think it sucks, or maybe you're unsure, you're sort of auto-blocking yourself and you don't do it, and then you do nothing, and then you're sad and it's bad. So I tend to just, you know, if I have an idea, I do it, and if it's it ends up not being great, then okay, fine enough. But usually you can always make it work, if that makes sense. It just takes months. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm like just churning out ideas, doing a few things. I've started a few different books at once, and I'm going to start a few others, so that's quite exciting. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about it today, and I'm going to clean my studio because it's kind of a mess after finishing this huge watercolor. It's watercolor, by the way. After finishing this watercolor painting, I'm just going to clean it all up, bring the books and all my current artwork sculptures out, and then, you know, start playing around and trying things, new techniques probably, and yeah, I'm going to film that. So editing Steph here, and I have to explain something because the video and audio was really bad. So I received some super granulating colors from Schmincke, a lot of them actually, 25 colors, and that's because I started working with Schmincke because I love that brand, and I decided to reach out to them and to ask if they could sponsor me. And long story short, they kind of said yes, and I made a tutorial for the blog, which should be out soon, and there's a video that is going to come out with that as well. And I was chit-chatting with my contact at Schmincke. She said something along the line that she was super busy because their super granulating colors were very demanded and were doing really great. And I was like, well, that's awesome, but you know, I understand that they do look luscious, and that's kind of all that I said, just like, great for you, and I can understand that they look great. And so she said, well, I can send you some. I was like, I mean, okay, if you want to send me, I would love to try them. And they sent me 25 different colors, which was a little bit overwhelming when I received them, but I was really happy. And it actually, at that point, I didn't realize it because I'm not very used to super granulating colors, as my work is very tight. I tend to shy away from them, but they actually inspired most of the artworks that I did in this vlog and that I'm currently working on in my sculptural work. So I'm not exactly sure yet how to use them in my pictorial work because I just don't know for now, apart from moss, which I already kind of did before. But yeah, they actually really inspired me, and so that's kind of like an instance where sometimes art supplies can inspire you to do things that you wouldn't have thought of. And I really like the textural aspect of those super granulating colors and how great they were to do the grass and the lichen. So that's basically it. And right now I'm just swatching them so you can get a feel of them. I don't want to make a dedicated video on my channel because I don't really do reviews in general. I don't really want to go that way, and I feel like many other YouTubers do that much better than I do. And so in that sense, I'm just adding that snippet here in the video. And yeah, they are very nice, very granulating, they are very muted. So I actually had to up the colors a lot in my artworks itself, because my work has a very high chroma, and not all, but many of the super granulating colors were very muted, which is easier to work with for most people. But again, my work tends to be high chroma, so I just mixed in regular colors, and also I have some Potter's Pink because I did know about granulating colors and wanted to try it more. And so yeah, just kind of played around, mixed and tried, and it works really well. And also another thing is, people assume that granulating colors work much better on rough paper, but that is not true. I use mostly hot pressed, so very smooth paper, and the granulating colors actually look a lot more dramatic on hot pressed. Because on cold press and rough press, you already have some kind of almost granulation, just because you have like the little, you know, the paper is not smooth, so you have ridges, and so your watercolor tends to not be very smooth. But on hot press, your color is very smooth, and if suddenly you have granulating colors, then the granulation really comes out. So hot press is not really a paper for beginners, simply because it's much harder to work with than cold pressed. However, for granulating colors, I feel like it really is quite impressive. So yeah, I really love them, and I've been using them with some watercolors from Oubliette, the handmade watercolors, and mix them with those, and then with other brands and also other Schmincke colors. So yeah, lots of fun. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the granulating colors, really. So I've got already 2 sculptures finished, so they're pretty similar. At some point I think I just decided that I could not reinvent the wheel all the time, so this one is going to go for the 10 years anniversary show of Arc Enemy Arts in, still don't know where it is. I don't know, I will put it in the edit, but right now I don't. And this one is going to go for Beinart Gallery in Melbourne in Australia. Now this one I was thinking for their Lucid show, but I've decided otherwise. So it's going to be for small art, and the big piece, pastel-y, manga-looking one is going to be for the Lucid show, and the Lucid show is before the small works. So I really have to finish it before the end of the week because I need to ship them next week so they can arrive on time. So these are the things that I need to do. I actually still need to do another sculpture for another gallery, but it's less urgent. So this week we're focusing on this one, and so this one will be done. I feel like I'm always having too many projects at once, kind of crushed by the deadlines, but that's all right. Anyway, I will be going back to work and working on that pink pastel one. Hopefully it's going to go great so I can ship everything next week. Okay. Good morning. So we are Friday and today marks the last day of me filming this vlog. Also, I have decided. I have finished my sculpture almost. I just need to add a few dots of paints, take some pictures and do the boxes. I'm not sure I'm going to take the pictures today because I haven't varnished them yet, and I do need to varnish at least a few bits here and there. I mean, it's sculptures on paper, so varnishing doesn't make too much sense because it's paper, you know, it's not going to be magically enhanced with varnish. But yeah, I'm almost finished, really happy about that. So today, as I said, I'm making the paint, finishing the sculpture, but it's almost done, and then I have to make the boxes so I can ship the sculpture. So I have 3 sculptures to ship, 2 to Beinart and 1 to Arc Enemies. So yeah, I'm good on time. I didn't really plan exactly how many sculptures I was going to do this month, but considering that I have a total of 6 group shows or something like that, and 3 are already out of the way. I think it's good. There's actually one that needs to be done by mid-March, and I haven't started on that one yet. But yeah, but that's really it. Other than that, the other ones, the 2 other group shows at the end of this year, and then of course I have the solo show. But it's also at the end of the year, so I'm not too bad. Doesn't mean that I can rest, but I'm a little bit less stressed. I feel like January has been brutal with the astronauts, and February so far has been a little bit brutal. But now I'm feeling a bit more, yeah, like more relaxed about the coming year, and and especially the astronauts. I sold 9 out of 10 pieces, so I don't know if you hear that, but I have a laundry going on in the back. It's actually because of my cat. I have a very old cat. You saw her on my lap just before, and she's having we're having a bit of a pee situation. So basically, I have to wash her stuff every day. So yeah, it's a bit of an annoyance, but I love her, and apart from that, she's like very alive. I don't know how to say it differently. Like she eats well, she comes to cuddle and so on. So yeah, she's old and she has that pee problem, but anyway, I like to take my time with work, and I think I realized that when I was painting the whole room, which is destroyed now, by the way. It's really over, that project. And I realized, because, you know, most of street artists, they work very quickly originally because it's illegal. Now it's a bit of a different situation, but when they started out, you know, it was like vandalism. Sometimes it looked great, but it was still, you know, you're not supposed to paint on walls outside in your town, and they would do it, and so it had to be fast, and I understand that, and they kept that in their practice, and it was like the slowest. I remember someone telling me, oh, you would be so much faster with like the spray cans, and I was like, yeah, sure, but why would I want to be faster? You know, who cares? And since it was quite a long project, from then on, I decided that, yeah, actually, artists, like, one of the gifts we can offer the world, especially in such a fast-paced world, is to take our time to do artworks and to push them until we feel that they're finished. And I like that. I really like that. I mean, it doesn't apply to all artists, because some artists are very quick in the art practice, not because it's bad, just because they like to work quick. That makes sense. You know, they like to just like be more in a dance. So it's less controlled in that regard. A lot of abstract painters, especially, or expressionist painters, they like to work fast. I'm currently reading Gathering Moss. I was reading Cosmos from Alexander von Humboldt, but I'm like halfway through. But it's just like, it's a science book that was written 200 years ago. So sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's too much, and then the writing style sometimes is a bit tedious. So yeah, I kind of gave up on it for now, and then I decided, you know what, I mean, I'm not as cool, I don't have to read it, so I'm leaving it aside, and maybe I will pick it up later this year. And I decided to start Gathering Moss, which comparatively is such an easy read. And it's nice, maybe a little bit too mystical for me at times. It's not mystical in the sense it's a science book, but sometimes she goes off on a tangent, and I'm like, okay, I'm so little mystical that I don't know. But it's a good book. So far, I really enjoy it. It's all about mosses, and she really likes mosses, you can tell. It's kind of interesting, and it's a sweet, short book. It has just 160 pages, so it's going to be finished really soon, so that's nice, so I can move on to other books. And nowadays what I do is I do read a lot of science books, natural history books. I always have a sheet of paper in it, And then I just kind of write down when I'm interested in things. So yeah, I'm not at school, so I don't have to, but for my artwork, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's interesting, I have to write it down, have it on that sheet of paper, and then I just kind of remember that something was about it, and so I leave it in the book, and when I have to find the information again, then I just take the paper, and it makes things much easier. So yeah, just practical trick on how to study books, I guess. Anyway, finishing my tea, and then I'm going to go to work. We've been talking 11 minutes already. This vlog is going to be long. I have to cut things down. I want to wrap this video up, and I have a few things to say. So first, I finished the boxes. 2 of the books are good. This one I have to rework because it's kind of wobbly everywhere and I don't like it. So I'm really annoyed at this. My boyfriend said it was okay, but I feel like it's not good enough, so I will have to rework it. Sorry. And apart from that, and I'm going to say it quickly because I tried to dwell on it and I always end up crying, so we don't want that in this video. There's a war right now in Ukraine, and I just really hope that the conflict is going to be over soon. I know there are many other issues in the world and I tend to not talk about it. My work is colorful and it has a post-apocalyptic vibe to it, and that's because I create an environment where there are no humans left and nature is capable of taking over, because the more I see what happens in humanity, and now I'm crying again. So yeah, so what I'm trying to say is I try to make my work very colorful and very hopeful, because the world, I feel like the world often sucks. Climate change, the denial about it, wars, sociopaths that are at the head of governments, the extreme poverty that is still around, in general, like just humanity as a whole has like some greatness but also a very dark side. And in that sense my work is an escape for myself. Because there are no humans in my work, it's just the objects that they left behind, and that's why I always see it a bit as a post-apocalyptic vibe to it, something cheerful. But at the same time I really hope it is also an escape from reality for yourself, and at the same time I hope it kind of questions society for a lot of different things. So I just want to end that. I hope the conflict in Ukraine is going to be resolved soon, and my heart reaches out to you. And yeah, war is never a solution, and I kind of want to end on that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the sad note in the end of this video. And yeah, I really hope to see you in my next video on a more cheerful note. Okay, bye.